Hey! Welcome to Faulkner Fixes All. As promised, more bike videos. Okay, so today we're going to kind of go through this front end and what the problems are on Schwinn Springer front ends that are reproductions. There's nothing wrong with a Schwinn Springer front end if it's a real Schwinn Springer front end. But this one is not. This is reproduction. And you can tell right off the bat there's no retaining bolt holding the spring bolt in. These bolts here are kind of cheap, and down here this is kind of cheap. It's pressed, that's pressed. These bolts don't say AS or S on them. This bolt doesn't say S on it, which stands for Schwinn. So we're going to take it apart today, and there's another common problem. When people install these, sometimes they cut the T part of the fork, the part that fits in here and holds everything. Sometimes they cut that short, and in this particular one they did cut it short. And I bought it from a garage sale, and the guy said he lost interest in it because he messed up putting the reproduction Schwinn Springer. He said he messed it up on the install, and under further scrutiny he did mess it up. But anybody, it's a common mistake. So today we're going to take this stem out, and first we're going to take the grips off. And to take the grips off, take an adjustable wrench, put it on here, give it a little push with your thumb, and easy peasy, just like that, out they come. And that way you didn't ruin the end of the grip. You can reuse that grip. You didn't scar it. And that one's out. And this is what happens when you don't do that. See, this grip is used. Somebody messed it up. They're trying to cut it or push it really hard without the right adjustable wrench. There's other ways to do it. You can use compressed air and blow some compressed air through there, and sometimes it blows the other grip off across the shop. But you know, if you don't have a compressor, take an open end adjustable wrench, or a 7/8 open end wrench will also work, so you can get it off. Okay, so those are out. Alright, so before you unloosen this pinch bolt, let's have a little lesson on pinch bolts. This is a pinch bolt Schwinn stem. This one's from a Schwinn Varsity, or oh no, this is not from a Schwinn Varsity. This is just some no-name. Oh, it could be. Look, there's an S bolt right there. Just some no-name that fits Schwinn. I think I put the S bolt in there, but anyway, that's the pinch bolt right there. That's the style. It's a wedge style. You tighten this bolt and it wedges up in there right and nice and tight, and that's how you can steer and it doesn't get loose. Okay, so there's another style. This other style, this actually is from a Schwinn Varsity probably. This style I just call the, bell end or the round wedge style. I don't know the exact term for it, but anyway, you get the idea. There's a little slit here. Sometimes there's a double slit if it's from France. Those French people love that stuff, making things dangerous. Okay, so this style is like a round wedge style, and when you tighten the bolt, it just shoves this round piece in here and expands this out, and then that stays in the stem. I don't particularly like this style. It's not as sure as the other style. That's just my opinion, of course. And did you know they even make a wedge pin seat post? These are on bikes from the 40s and 50s. They don't usually use these nowadays, but it's nice to have around. Okay, so we covered that. So the first thing you do when you're going to take this off, now if you're just removing this, you can remove it, whatever. But if you know you're taking the fork off, now is a great time to undo this fork crown bolt, because you can hold this. You haven't undone this stem. You can hold this. So now's a great time just to give that a little loosen. And if it doesn't come out, hold your legs on the wheels and hold your hand here and undo it. Or sometimes, in rare cases, you have to put the bike on the ground with a junk front wheel on it and have someone stand on it. And really put the torque on it, and if it still doesn't come out, you're going to have to use heat. Or you can zip disc it off if you're really desperate, but I don't recommend that because it usually ruins the forks. Okay, so that's loose. And we're going to undo this pinch bolt. Half-inch usually is what happened with Schwinn. Okay, got that. We'll loosen it up. And here comes the fun part. We're going to hit it with a hammer. Oh, I bet you thought I was going to use this metal ball peen hammer, didn't you? Nope, you don't use that. Use a brass hammer. And it went down. It's still not going. It's still not there. I'm going to loosen it up a little. Oh, it's loose, but anyway, you get the idea. Usually it's so tight that the bolt just sticks up like that. And, you know, you just give it a whack, hold it like this, and there. You knock the wedge pin, you've knocked the wedge pin down. And that's good. That brass hammer, good to have when you're working around bikes. This one's seen a lot of use, as you can see. A lot of pounding on that one. Alright, so we got that out of the way. Now we know that's loose. Okay, I think we're gonna take this wheel off real quick. Get it out of the way. It's probably 15. I think it's 15. Yeah, it's 15 millimeter because it's a Japanese wheel on a Schwinn. Anyway, I did the research. This is an 1983 Schwinn, made in Chicago, Cruiser 5. It's no longer a 5-speed because I robbed all the parts off of it to sell on another bike a while back when I first got it. These things happen. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. Alright, so now here's one of the problems with these. When you install them, and I'll show you real quick because I'll take this apart. Look, an actual Schwinn wrench. Oh boy, look at that. We're using a Schwinn wrench. Can you guys see that? Only the best. Okay, so we're going to take this apart. We took this acorn nut off. And now's a great time for our brass hammer because we don't want to ruin the threads. Looks like somebody greased that up pretty good. Probably the guy that put it on unsuccessfully. So let's see what his problem was. Let's see why he sold this frame and reproduction springer and decent wheels that I've already used on another bike. Which I probably shouldn't have. But let's see what his problem was. Got that. At least he used plenty of grease. That's good. Okay, that's that. And we already loosened this up. Now he didn't use a washer here. You're supposed to have a lock washer that catches this groove. Oh, there's no groove. It's such a cheap springer. There's usually a groove cut into these threads, and it's such a cheap springer that there's no groove. Okay, so what was his problem? His problem was he cut this too short. Look at that. See, this thing, he modified this. Somebody ground this piece. Okay, let's take this off so you can see. Get your eyeballs in here. I know I'm droning on, but people need to know this, and they need to know not to cut these things too short. They're already kind of a junky front end. Okay, so whoever tried to install this, they put this on, and they were like, oh, okay, let's make a mark and cut it, and that would have been fine if this piece wasn't going on. And then they realized too late what they had done. It's a common thing. I've seen it. I've helped people with it before. I have never done it myself, but it does happen. It's a very common thing. You don't have everything mocked up before you cut the fork. And then you end up with something like this. And here's the problem. Here's the main problem with these. So the person that did that realized that this wasn't going to fit on that thickness. So he took it, he or she, I don't know, well, it's the guy that sold it to me, and he ground the living heck out of it. And now that is too weak to support going off a jump. It's just going to bend or break or cause problems and get someone hurt. So this does happen. People, they try to make the best of it. You can see where they ground really hard into that. They try to make the best of it, but what they happen is they just cut this thing too short. And the only way to get this piece is to buy another Springer front end, or find a good Schwinn one. So anyway, we're going to get rid of this because it's too dangerous. And it ain't going to happen on my shift. I'm not going to sell it like that. So I think they even ground the, they ground the, wow, they really messed up. They ground or filed. Yep, there's grind marks on this. It's real thin. Let's take that out. Yeah, that's pretty thin too. In fact, there's a little sliver sticking off of there. Can you see that sliver? They ground on this bearing adjustment nut too. It shouldn't be that thin. It should not be that thin at all. So that's the problem. Let me see if I can grab one here. I can't find one, but oh, there's one. No, that's not. Anyway, so they ground on this. They ground on that pretty hard to make the difference too, to make up for that. And that's not good either. I'm going to take these out. I'm going to save them. And I'm going to show you how to pound these out real quick. Keep our video short here, but unfortunately, there might have to be another video. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, here's something I can use. This is not really the method, but alright, so just take a piece of steel or something, jam it down in there, catch the edge of the bearing race. Look at that, we got it. Usually they fall out and go bing on the floor. It looks like someone actually glued that in or something, I'm not sure. Get your face out of the way. There's one. Okay, so we got those out. So on the next video, we're going to install the stock fork, which actually came with this bike. The gentleman I bought this from, he had the fork that came with it. And it's a tubular fork from 83. You can tell it's Schwinn because that's the way they got cheap in 83 to 85. They had this tubular mountain style fork. And we're going to put that back in because I have it and I want to use it because it's safer and it's not modified. Okay, so we got to get these bars off. So we're going to undo this stem. Undo this bolt. And oh, it just slipped right off, but sometimes you got to take the bolt completely out. This one's just a potpourri of parts, so it's just falling apart in my hands, but I'll go through it just so you know. So you take a screwdriver or something with an edge and you put it in here and you pry right there and then it comes right off if you take the bolt completely out. Okay, so these are really cheap parts that are just falling apart, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's it for now, and next time we'll install some better races and we'll put an emblem on here and we'll put the stock fork back in. I'll probably have to paint it black or something. It is red, and inside of here you can see there's red, so it is the right fork. So that's it for now, and only channel worth watching. Stay tuned, more goodies coming, more bike stuff, I promise.